Hey everybody, I'm Joel Alsop, and this is St. Jude Storied Lives. It's where you can hear what life has been like for people who were patients at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. These conversations let you get to know the person, not just the diagnosis, but also how that diagnosis changes plans and sometimes opens new opportunities. I've seen it time and time again when I talk with patients. A great example of that is a young man named Nick, and that's who you will meet today.
It just made me shift gears. It taught me not to have such a narrow scope. There's so much out here, and there's so much for you to experience and so much for you to do. Don't just deadlock yourself into one thing. There's other things you can love too. There's so much that the world has to offer.
The way that Nick shifted gears was away from basketball and toward writing and rapping. The first dream was all about physical performance and athleticism. The second dream has helped him look inward and helped him inspire other patients. Nick was raised to be a basketball star, both by his community — basketball is actually huge in Memphis — and by his family. Nick's dad played for the hometown team.
Yeah, he played at University of Memphis back when he was, younger. Was a great high school prospect as well. I think he was number one in the country at one point. It's in the blood.
Did that make you guys feel like you were competitive as kids because you had that in your blood too?
Yeah, I mean, he pushed us too, so we were going to be competitive. We always wanted to win.
And, that was your early passion. When did you start playing basketball? What was the first time you had a ball in your hand that you can remember?
First time I had a ball in my hand, maybe it was probably like 4. But I started playing like with a team with my dad at like 6 or 7.
Okay.
Was when I started actually like playing.
When did you realize you were good? That, hey, everybody else around me is a little bit slower, can't shoot quite as well.
Maybe, okay, I know 6th grade for sure, because me and this another friend of mine named Carl Johnson were the only 2 6th graders to make the varsity team in middle school. So at that point I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I am a little better than a couple other people out here. But so that was a very like distinct like milestone. Like, oh, okay, only 2 6th graders.
And so, yeah, played middle school, started playing through high school. How was it being on a team, on a competitive team?
Oh, it's great because, I mean, the thing you take away the most is like the interaction with your teammates. Like that's like what you're going to hold on to for like forever. Going into battle, game in, game out, and getting the dub is always, we always look forward to that. So I enjoyed it.
So as you grow, keep getting better and better at basketball, I know in high school, something happened. Maybe something started changing you that you didn't feel as well as you did before. Can you tell us about that? What were the first signs that you thought something might be off about your life?
Oh, yeah, that was the 8th grade summer heading into 9th grade. Okay. We were getting ready to go on, I think it was the Adidas circuit that we were getting ready to go on. And to warm up to it, we played a couple local tournaments around just to, get some games under our belt before we headed off to wherever we were traveling to. And for whatever reason, I just felt extremely tired. I started getting like knots like in my stomach. And of course, everybody just assumed it was like a 6-pack because I'm young, you exercising all the time. Like, you should have a 6-pack. You ain't got no fat on you,
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we chalked it up to. So that was fine, or we thought it was fine. But the summer kept going on. June, July, and then early August, and man, my fatigue, it was getting bad. It was getting worse and worse, and everybody, was like, oh man, it should die. And I was like, man, maybe it is, but I don't think I eat that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I was eating everything at that age,
but you can at that age.
Yeah, I was doing this before, and it was fine. So we chalked it up to that, and then what started happening, I started sleeping like a lot. I would wake up and then have these dark circles just around my eyes, and my mom would be like, "You got any sleep today?" Like, I've been asleep all day. I wake up and I'm still tired. Like, so that's when those things started happening for prolonged periods for like a month. Like from July to August, the sleep started and just couldn't shake it. So then I enter high school, 9th grade. I'm in school like 2.5, 3 weeks, and mom schedules me a doctor's appointment. And 3rd week of high school, 9th grade, that same doctor's appointment, I get sent to St. Jude that same day.
So I'm going to take you back a little bit too, just to give an idea for people listening who might not know like about the competitive basketball. Like, what was your schedule like then? I mean, you mentioned traveling around the country. Can you kind of give me an idea of what life in basketball was like at that time?
You're traveling the entire summer. As soon as school ball ends, which if you made a push, it's probably like February, March, I believe. And then March, you already practicing with your AAU team. In April, you're playing. May you're playing. So we traveled that entire summer. We went from place to place to place.
So, I mean, yeah, you could chalk that up to something like Justin as well, but obviously wasn't that. Get lethargic, don't feel well, go to St. Jude. What are your thoughts as you enter St. Jude? Obviously being here in town, did you know anything about it? Was there worry as you were going to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital for the first time?
Well, at that point, I really was out of it. I was so tired. But to talk about St. Jude, I really didn't know much about St. Jude before walking through the gates. I mean, I had seen the commercials, I seen the kids, and outside of that, I didn't know anything. Mm-hmm. I asked my mom, is this like the hospital for kids with cancer? And she's like, yeah, but they treat other things too. Because I honestly didn't know. I knew the kids had cancer on the TV, but that was it. And
so you get there. What do you find out? What do you learn is going on with you?
They tell me that the same day that I had leukemia and that they thought it was a acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which it ended up being. So,
and that's the most common form of childhood cancer, but it's still a scary thing to go through. And I'm sure too, like me, the word, because I had bone cancer, it was osteosarcoma. That didn't register to me, but the word cancer registered to me. That's scary. What did it feel like to you when you hear that word cancer in your name?
Well, then I really only had one thing in my mind. I was really just trying to get back to basketball. So I was like, whatever we got to do to get me back on the court is fine. Let's do that.
And so what did they do? What is treatment like for acute lymphoblastic leukemia?
It's 2.5 year treatment. Different medicines. From chemos. We didn't involve any radiation or anything like that. First, it was more oral chemo, and then, you had a drug that was extremely tough called methotrexate.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one, yep.
Yeah, which is I think it's a 24-hour drip that goes the whole day, and you just, it takes you out.
Yeah. How'd that how did you feel going from elite athlete to now being a cancer patient? How were you feeling from day to day when that's happening?
Well, I never really thought that I wouldn't get back.
Yeah.
So I always had in my mind I'm going to get back. So the day to day I was, when I wasn't feeling awful, I was trying to walk and get exercise as much as I could. I was always in my mind I'm gonna get back. So I wasn't stressing it too much. And of course my mom, especially when it first happened, my mom was worried. I'm not gonna make it. Which is, a very valid concern. But me, I was like, man, if I didn't make it, then that was what was meant to be for me. That was my story. And if I do make it, then, I'm going to try my best to get back to what I was doing before this happened.
So how did you handle it? How did you push yourself through your treatment? You talked a little bit about making sure you were still as active as you could possibly be. Is there anything else you did to make sure that you were going to get back to what you were before?
Yeah, there were a couple of times I was impatient, and I would just I would take my little monitor and let's just do laps around the hospital. So yeah, I was just stuff like that.
And how did the doctors and nurses and other staff at St. Jude help you handle this? Because this is a big interruption to life.
I would say they did the best one could do. They were extremely positive, were extremely helpful. They always kept in mind what my goals were and what I wanted, while also saving my life. So I don't think you could ask for any more than that.
What's cool for me is getting to talk to you and share your story. A lot of times I've seen a lot of photos through the years and seen you grow up a little bit, because you're already super tall when I met you, but just seeing the kinship that you made through the hospital and seeing these pictures of you with friends and going through that. I know you had one special friend named Hannah who kind of shifted that passion in your life. And can you tell me about Hannah and what she was doing and how she affected your life?
Yeah, I met, man, what's crazy, I don't even remember how we met in the team room.
Okay, yeah, which is a place that only teenagers can hang out inside St. Jude. It's just for them.
Yeah, and when I met Hannah, I was going through a rough stretch with the chemo and everything, starting to have a couple doubts as to what my future might be at that point. And she saw me in the team room, started talking to me, and started talking about music and this and that. And I told her, yeah, I rap and blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh, you rap for real? I was like, yeah, blah, blah. So she ended up inviting me to this little party that a couple of patients and stuff were going to. I'm like, yeah, I show up, I go. I'm not doing much else, So I show up and they're playing these beats, just instrumentals for everybody kind of dance to or whatever. And then they play one from It was "Let the Beat Build" by Lil Wayne on the Carter 3, and they played the instrumental. And then I was just vibing to it, and then cause she saw me nodding my head like heavy, and she was like, hey, go ahead and spit some, I said, okay, well, whatever, I got you. And then she started rapping, and then everybody started like gathering around. It became one of those like moments, and then from then I was like, okay, people kind of like what I got to say a little bit, all right. So yeah, from there she kind of sparked a different fire inside of me. I'm like, okay, this is it was nice, you know, to express myself in a way that was, you know, different from what I was doing at first. Because, you know, I used to write rhymes and stuff like that on my little notebook, but nothing too serious, just here and there. But when that happened, I was like, okay, maybe this is something I can do. So she planted that seed in me, and I ended up doing a song with my cousin for the teen art show.
It's something. This is so cool. So like every year, our child life specialists work with our teenagers to do like their own art show, and they rotate the gallery out every single year. So it's this perspective that our teenage patients have going through their journey at St. Jude, and it's beautiful because there's artwork, there's amazing music made by kids like Nick that you just get this insight into life. What did it mean to you to like record that track and have it in a place where other people could hear it?
That was great. I had my little speaker set out in front of my name. People walking by hearing the song. I was like, yeah, this is nice. I like this. Yeah. And it was nice because I was just talking about what I was going through at that time. So it was very therapeutic for me. I think.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Did it help you feel better?
It helped me a lot.
And you know, the tough part, I mean, there's so much amazing stuff that St. Jude has brought. I know both you and me. And the tough part is like sometimes you make those friends and their journey doesn't end like your journey does.
Yeah, Hannah ended up passing away. That one, it really hurt me. And I felt like the best thing to do, at least in my mind, was to like keep living and keep going after what you want to go after. Because at the end of the day, you wouldn't even pursue music if it wasn't for her. And even when she was sick and going through what she was going through, and she made it to college. Like she was still striving to live, even though she was sick and she was hurting. She was like, no, this is not gonna stop me from living. So that's what I took away from it. Like, and don't take this as a defeat. Like, she went out doing what she loved. Yeah. And that's all you can ask of anybody. Like, do what you want to do, because you're only here for a short amount of time. Yeah,
that's a beautiful perspective to have, and I'm so just like. I'm amazed every time you talk about Hannah, and just hearing that like does my heart good, because I know a lot of same friends like that have affected my life that same way, man. So that's awesome to hear you talk about that. And as far as you go through your treatment after you finish up at St. Jude, what happens next? Are you trying to get back to basketball? What happens to Nick after he's finishing his treatment?
Yeah, the strive to basketball was still a dream of mine, but some of the treatments had damaged my knees, and that was another setback that was a little bit more difficult to overcome from a basketball standpoint, running and jumping constantly. So I don't think I ever really just got it back to where it was, you know.
Yeah. Did it help knowing what you'd been through and meeting the people you've met when basketball wasn't going the way that you wanted it to? Was your perspective okay?
Yeah, I think it just made me shift gears.
Yeah.
And I still loved basketball and, you know, still wanted to play, but it taught me not to have such a narrow scope on like what you can do or just life in general. Like, there's so much out here, and there's so much for you to experience and so much for you to do. Don't just lock yourself into one thing. Like, if you love it, cool, go after it, chase it. But there's other things you can love too. There's so much that the world has to offer.
Yeah. And now you're doing great. You're in school. Tell us about what is life like now? What are you studying? What are you doing? What do you hope to be?
Yeah, I'm a senior now.
All right, congrats.
University of Memphis. Getting ready to graduate. Majoring in English. Like I said, I'm aspiring to be an artist. But you know, if I don't get it the way, or even if I do, I still see myself, you know, helping out St. Jude in the future. Like, that's always a part of the plan.
Hey, let me tell you all something cool about Nick too. Is I got to meet him. I think we just bumped into you at the cafeteria, like one of the first like couple of weeks you were there, maybe within the first couple of days. And it's an overwhelming experience when we walk through the doors of the hospital for the first time. And I don't think you said a word to us. It was me and my future wife had bumped into you because she had the same type of cancer that you did. And we just said hello and kind of met you and your mom and told her if you need anything, just let us know. So you went from that guy to I remember a year or two later, they're like, Nick's made a rap song and he's going to be on stage with you and he's going to sing it. I was like, the Nick I met? This guy? So this is in front of a couple thousand people. And you get up and you sing the song that you and your cousin wrote together. What was that like now performing in front of audiences now for the first time?
To be honest, I didn't really think about it much. It was just kind of I practiced and it was time to perform and I just performed. It's not, I don't think about it consciously like that. I just prepare as best I can and then just go out there.
What's it mean to you to see people responding to your music and listening to the messages that are in it?
I feel like it's always just good for them to be heard in general, whether it's just music or you just trying to have a conversation with somebody. Just to be heard, I feel like it's a very good thing.
And what do you say, as you move forward through life, what's your inspiration as you're writing songs?
Well, I try to take experiences that I go through and experiences of others, and sometimes people don't necessarily have the platform or the place to speak about what they're going through. So I like to sometimes look at other people's lives and tell it from somebody else's perspective, a story, because I know other people want to be able to relate to stuff as well through music. And I feel like that's a great way to bring people together.
Man, and you've come such a long way. If you look back on that time, that kid who walked through the doors of St. Jude for the first time, what would you want to say to him? What advice would you want to offer?
I just tell him don't be stubborn to change, because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. At some point, even if you didn't go through this, stuff's still gonna change, regardless. And because at first I think I was fighting it a bit, because I was just so dead set, basketball, get back to basketball. But then after a while, you meet new people, go through new experiences, and you start to open up, which is why the quiet kid you met is now a little more open now. He talks more. He can speak. He can rap. Yeah. But at first, that was just even in school, I have, my teammates and a couple friends here and there, but other than that, I wasn't really just speaking to people like that. That wasn't me. I was quiet, keep to myself.
And looking ahead too, where do you see yourself or hope to see yourself here in the next 5-10 years?
Hopefully on stage somewhere. Yeah, that's the goal.
And whether it's in the future, whether it's now, what do you hope people see and can learn when they look at you?
I hope people can just take away the fact that that life can sometimes deal you a bad hand. It's okay to be down for a minute. It's okay to be down, but try your best to bounce back. Try your best, because there's so many blessings and opportunities that you can get just by staying in the game, staying in the race. Don't take yourself out.
Nick, man, you're an inspiration. I always love talking to you. Thank you so much for taking time out to do this with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nick's got that star quality, and you can see it for yourself. There's a link to a video in the show notes that'll tell you more about his story and let you see him perform. Finding a way to express yourself, to be yourself, that's so important as you begin to take your first steps into the wider world, to decide how the world will know you. St. Jude knows how important the mental and emotional side of treatment is. That's why things like the Teen Room and the Art Show exist, to give patients an outlet to express the feelings they're having during treatment. You can support the holistic approach of St. Jude by sharing this podcast, and thank you for listening. This podcast is a production of ALSAC, the fundraising and awareness organization for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's produced by Jeffrey Reddick and edited by Grace Korziqua Evans. Music production by Casimir Boyle. Recorded by Jason Latshaw, Nathan Black, Bobby Mitchell, Orlando Pilez, and Dan Yohe. And I'm Joel Alsop.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital understands that every patient's journey through treatment is unique. Listeners who have questions about their situation, diagnosis, or treatment options should talk to their physician. These personal stories are not intended to provide medical advice.